Alright, in this tutorial we are going to be setting up files. Pretty much whenever you start a brand new file, you're just going to go ahead and go to File, New, and then you're going to, in your template, you're going to select the perspective of what you're actually trying to export to. This mostly will pertain to the materials that you're using. So in this case we are going to be setting to Unity 5 from Algorithmic. And then you are going to want to select the mesh. So at this point, we are going to go through. I'm going to slide that off, and to this one. There we go. And I'm going to find that real quick. And models and where is it? There it is. All right. So we have our fluorescent light FBX loaded in. So at this point, the normal map format, you are going to want DirectX. Unity 5 uses DirectX for its normal maps. Unreal 4 uses OpenGL. So in this case, we want DirectX. Document resolution. So this will basically, oh, I was wrong. It was 496, not 456, because I'm bad at math. So at this point, for our document resolution, we are doing 2048 by 2048. You can work in smaller. It really doesn't matter. It really depends on what your team is looking for, and you can always make variants of it if you have setting preferences for the game itself. So like your normal resolutions, low, medium, high, stuff of that instance. 2048. Okay, so at that point, once you have all of that input put in, just go ahead and click OK. And at this point, we actually have the fluorescent light that we just got done doing. If you noticed that the top, since there were no polygons up at the top since we are mounting it to the ceiling, you can see directly through it. The reason why is because our UVs are not two-sided. We don't want two-sided is because it will take up more data and you're not going to see it, so it doesn't matter. So at this point, whenever you're on this side, you will see exactly what is being projected. Normally, whenever you put your model in, make sure that you're not getting this on any of your other textures around the entire model. This was the whole point of the optimization and export for in 3ds Max. So at this point, we will also go into some of the other stuff for the setup. Normally in your setup, you will have down here you'll have the all, which has literally everything inside of your shelf, and your project, which if you uploaded specifics to your project, different textures, things like that, it will be in the project tablet. Plus you will have your alphas, which are normal grayscale, white and black, and grays, to basically create the variations of opacities for your brushes. Same thing with grunges if you want to add in grunges. Procedurals, which are things that can be used as tiles. Your textures, which have normal maps and other variations into your shelf. Hard surfaces, which are normals, which you can put in the normals option and basically make alterations to your model via normals. So you can paint in normals without having to touch third-party software such as ZBrush. Filters, different filters that you can put on your mesh, as well as actual brushes. They have different brushes. You can always implement your personal brushes if you'd like. Particles. Particle effects are basically things that you will generate in real time on your model, such as leaks, heavy leaks, or laser impacts, say something shot it with a laser, even fractals for like broken glass. Tools, same things, blood stains, kind of like the same kind of perspectives for all of that. Materials, this is what you're primarily going to be texturing is materials. And then you have smart materials, which are based on curvatures, light mappings, and your UVs overall. And then you have your smart masks, same as smart materials, but they're just set up in masks. Environments are basically the changes that you can make within your settings. and color profiles, which are just different color profiles for your settings. So at this point, that is the normal basics for setting up your profile. One thing that I do want to add, oh, hello, no thank you. So at this point, there are a couple different options for changing settings. So say your model came in wrong, like something was wrong, and you had to go back to 3ds Max, make some changes, re-update your FBX file, and so on and so forth. So you need to re-import this without making any changes, or say you textured it but then didn't like something and you remodeled something, redid the textures or the unwraps and stuff like that in 3ds Max or Maya or whatever, and you need to re-import the model without losing all that hard work you've done. So at that point, you can go into Edit, Project Configuration. So at this point, you can, your mesh that is currently being used, and you can go to Select, it will pull up the new file, or you can hunt down the file that you're looking for, click on that, and then for tutorial 6, we'll just re-import this one. Plus, this also gives you the option of switching between OpenGL as well as DirectX. So say you forgot to switch it to DirectX or OpenGL in the beginning, you can do that in here as well. So we're just going to go to OpenGL again, or I'm sorry, DirectX, and then it will re-import the model and have all your settings saved. And at that point, that will basically conclude the tutorial of setting up your files within Substance Painter 2.